gentlemen, welcome to Canada Business Talks. Now, we've curated and created this series, CBT, to help elevate your approach to business through the lens and experience and to leverage the experiences that these giants have gone through. And today, we'll, of course, be spending time with Martin Basiri. Now, what's really interesting about his story is, well, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to let him fill in that blank. My name is Shiraz Sadiq, your host for today. Now, we wouldn't be able to make this possible if it wasn't for our partners, RBC. And because of their exclusive partnership with us, and of course, UPS, sessions like this are made possible to elevate your business experience as well. Today's up close and personal interaction with Martin will provide insight into the importance, and this is the key message, of international students in a post-pandemic economy and how they can assist in rebuilding and get us back to pre-pandemic growth levels that we are about to experience. Now, he shares his insight as an international student and how he eventually co-founded ApplyBoard. But ApplyBoard aside, there's so much more to Martin's story that will inspire you to never give up on the dream that you believe is deposited within your DNA. We're going to hear a quick word from UPS, our other sponsor.
Before the pandemic, we were looking at expanding into Europe, and then everything came to a standstill.
We're talking customer disruption, we're talking canceled orders.
In March, we had a 90% drop in revenue.
Our big motto throughout the whole thing was stay positive and take action.
We couldn't get any product in, and so what we ended up doing is working out a solution with UPS, and we flew it in. I actually can say that UPS is 100% responsible for my success last year.
They were there to support us along the way, and they made it their own problem.
They take care of the little things so we can take care of the big things.
To start off with, we'd like to invite our friends at RBC. He wants to share a little bit about his experience as a leader at RBC in the business space for more than 25 years. Our friend from RBC, he's a VP of private banking of Southwestern Ontario. This is the important thing. He's been doing this for 25 years. You can imagine how many ups he's experienced and how many downs he has experienced. But through it all, he's been able to collect experiences that he applies every day at RBC. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Guth.
Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Guth, and I'm very pleased to be here on behalf of RBC to welcome you to Business Talks, hosted by Canadian SME Magazine. Since March of 2020, COVID-19 has definitely disrupted our economic, social, and personal lives at an unprecedented level and speed. The uncertainty and the upheaval has weighed upon many of our Canadians, including a disproportionate number of our small business owners and entrepreneurs, and has only been compounded by many of the adverse climate events across the country and other issues going on around the world. But we've also seen and know that Canadian entrepreneurs are among one of the most resilient and passionate in the world, serving as the backbone of our Canadian economy through years of prosperity, as well as challenging moments like these that we've experienced over the last 2 years. We saw countless Canadian business owners persevere and find ways to overcome and come together as a small business community and encourage the support of millions of Canadians and endure this challenging period. We saw countless Canadians who identified new opportunities and emerging market opportunities and quickly adapted both their existing business practices or moved into new business practices to take advantage of those spaces in our economy that needed their help. We're heartened to see the continued support of these small businesses, both in person and online, as well as strive for an accelerated recovery and what we hope to be the new chapter for entrepreneurs in a post-COVID world. We were thrilled at RBC to see Canadian SME Magazine take the lead in bringing thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and our co-sponsors, UPS, RICO, and Nerds on Site together to create this important forum. We hope these engaging conversations will deliver great insights and inspirations to help you successfully navigate a post-COVID future. And through these discussions, we hope that Canadian entrepreneurs can find strength and a sense of community in these forums as we navigate these next few months of what will be marked by growth and recovery. It's my pleasure today to welcome Martin Basiri, co-founder and CEO of ApplyBoard. As the son of two educators, Martin's instinctive passion for education and modest upbringing in Iran led him to value the pivotal role learning plays in creating opportunity. And this started all the way back in his undergraduate studies in Iran, where Martin founded his first startup, where he invented and sold 6 different inventions, which led to him winning a gold medal at the Geneva International Invention Show in 2009. After he arrived in Canada to pursue a further master's degree in mechanical and mechatronics engineering, Martin realized the opportunity international students had at their fingertips, so he leapt at the chance to get his brothers involved. As Martin began the process of helping his brothers, Mehdi and Masi, apply to school in Canada, they identified several problems with his overwhelming experience and complex process. In 2015, Martin and Masi and Mehdi fused their passion for building systems and websites with their passion for empowering international students, and they co-founded ApplyBoard. They've got a passion for helping students engage around the world and leverage technology to help them do that. And Martin, we thank you for that. That passion truly comes through in how you run your business. I look forward to hearing how Martin's experiences as an international student in Canada and his desire to solve a problem he was personally experiencing have influenced his business vision and strategy. Once again, I'd like to thank Canadian SME Magazine, our co-sponsors, and all of you for joining us today for a program that uncovers and celebrates inspiring stories and the individuals like Martin who make them real. And with that, I'd like to hand it back over to Shiraz.
Now, Peter, just before you go, a couple of questions for you. 25 years. Now, you and I both have gray hairs to show our wisdom, not our age, definitely our wisdom. Now, in those 25 years, what is one or two highlights or just amazing moments that you've had from a client perspective, or simply a learning that you've been able to pass forward on to the people you engage with on a regular basis?
Yeah, thanks for that, Shiraz. I would say the most important thing is don't pigeonhole into a sector. So think about, and I'll use Southwestern Ontario, automotive. Talk to a client, what's your industry? I'm in the automotive industry. No, you're in the steel industry. You're in the stamping industry.
Okay.
Think more broadly of what your skill set is. So that would be I think one of the biggest things that I've learned over my tenure in banking and working with small business owners.
That is fantastic. Now, you've set the bar high for Martin, because if you can come with that off the top of your head without preparation, let's see what Martin can bring to the table. Thank you, Peter. And we look forward to connecting with you afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy.
Now, of course, Canada Business Talks is for people who infuse purpose and passion into their business processes to progress in growth and in impact. You've heard his story, Martin, coming from the other side of the planet, coming all the way here for what? For why? And those are the questions. Now, when you win a gold medal, and we're going to speak about that in Geneva, you literally can write your own ticket and go anywhere you want in the world, roughly. Why he chose Canada is going to be an interesting part of this story. Without further ado, welcome, Martin. There you go.
Hi, Shiraz. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, what is that behind you? Is that a unicorn? Is that a horse? Is that a Pegasus? What is that?
This is a horse. My wife painted it.
Your wife did that painting?
Yeah, it's beautiful, right?
It absolutely is. Yeah. I think we have the wrong Basiri on this interview. Right? And you can let her know that as well.
Yeah, in fact, actually, we have construction. So this is where she does painting and stuff. So I brought my office to her paint shop.
Amazing. So she's sharing her studio with you.
Yes.
Now, one thing that's really important to you is family and sharing that platform with your family. We have a number of pictures with you and your brother, and I'm not sure if our producer can bring some of those up on the screen or not, but there's one image with you seated with both brothers, one on each side of you. What allowed you to be able to sit down and them to have to stand?
Let me see this one. Oh, this one.
Did you see that picture?
Oh.
Okay, it looks like we're bringing back some memories.
Yeah,
for you.
this one. So first of all, there's this two explanation. So number one is they're twins, right? So I have to be like, if I let one of them stay, the other one say, why, why not me, right? So I have to be fair to both of them. But this is one version of it. It's actually there's a picture of Mehdi sitting and Masi and I standing, or the version of Masi sitting and Mehdi and I standing. So the team decided to share this one.
Fantastic. And
yeah.
now there's also another image with you with the Prime Minister as well. Can you tell us about this moment, and what is this moment all about?
This is, I believe, about 3 years ago. One day we received a call from Communitech. They said, Prime Minister is coming tomorrow, may come tomorrow, and we want to know if you would like to meet him. And we were like, yes. So we went there. He was visiting town, and it was some announcement about funding for like a government incubators and stuff. And I think like Communitech in Waterloo,
right?
Like
right.
in Kitchener-Waterloo and
Fantastic
Velocity
organization.
But both of these organizations really helped ApplyBoard. So like I think it's very interesting because like I've seen in China and I've seen in US some like government-led programs, and it does matter. I've seen a lot of companies in our incubator that like our success were really amplituded because of the work that these people do at Communitech and Velocity and Accelerator Center. So yeah, thanks to all of them.
And that's important. In Canada, we have such an ecosystem to be able to incubate, to birth, and to help renew passion for business. So it's amazing that you were able to plug into one of those communities. And Communitech, again, they do fantastic work. Now, tell us, there's a few things that I'm trying to get in order here for people to understand your story about what ApplyBoard is. But before we can get to ApplyBoard, can I just expose my ignorance for a minute here? I didn't even know that there's this international competition in Geneva. I wasn't even aware that you could win a gold medal. I thought gold medal was only for the Olympics. You won a gold medal for inventions. What was it that won your gold medal?
Yeah. You heard of this thing they say, like being at the right place, right time?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So this was one of those moments that now I was making a lot of things. So I was like good at building circuits, good at coding and doing these things. And a couple of people had this idea, and it was an ultrasonic viscosity meter. They wanted to measure the viscosity of the oil with ultrasound instead of just like in traditional. And it has a lot of application. One application was in Iran. They were like, oh, these big transformers on the street, like middle of nowhere on the like where the transformers are, and they don't get maintenance well. But if we can measure the viscosity of the oil, we can say, when does this oil need to be replaced? And because they don't have such a good schedule and maintenance, and they're like they just go fix it when it's already broken.
Okay.
So if they could have get something like, they wanted to like do this, that was one of the application for that, to measure it this way. And so we got together, and I think a couple of weeks, we just built it. I designed a circuit and the coding and everything, and we sent it to Geneva International Invention Show. I didn't know such a thing exists as well.
Hold on, in a couple of weeks, you literally pulled some brains together and you developed a device that can measure the viscosity of oil or any other liquid for to create a scenario in which you can ward off maintenance before it breaks.
Yes.
Okay, I'm seeing what you're saying. Right place at the right time. That is fantastic.
Yeah. Why I say right place at the right time, because that idea, it wasn't my idea. They selected me to be the CTO of that job, so I wasn't the CEO of the job.
Okay.
And I think that it's also like I think that's the other thing that I learned from that, is like your dedication creates luck for you, because it was right before our New Year holidays.
Okay.
They called they were like, hey, our main engineers from this project, they all bailed out. They're like, we want to go to holiday and we don't have anyone. So I said, screw holiday, I'll work on this. This is exciting. So Iran has like 2.5 weeks of like public holiday.
Okay.
We work on this about 3.5 weeks. The entire holidays plus like a week before, worked on it.
Wow.
The last day we sent this to go to Geneva for the invention show. I think a day or after that, I went back to university.
Yes. So there's this definition: luck is the intersection of opportunity and preparedness. But when you're adding to that equation, you're adding to the definition of luck as opportunity and preparedness and willingness.
Yeah. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuned in and you're online watching this already, we're receiving gold. What are you going to do Canada Day weekend? We're not saying don't celebrate Canada, but if there's an opportunity that you need to work through, like Martin, you may want to reconsider what you need to be doing instead of what you want to be doing, because those moments of sacrifice, look, it's paying off in Martin's life already. Now,
and actually, like that was one of the reasons actually I got a scholarship for University of Waterloo. So I've invented a lot of things, and it was always national level. Okay. So it wasn't any international that like, and when this happened, I got some internationally recognized. So when I applied for University of Waterloo, they could see like, yeah, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, all in Iran, in a country that like people normally just hear politics. You never like hear inventors of Iran or those things. So you normally like hear about politics, but this was like a international invention show, something like more recognizable, and created me the opportunity to come to Canada and further on bring my family and then ApplyBoard. So, sometimes I think about it. If, for example, some of these things that you say, the luck, the willingness, the right place, right time, however you want to like say it.
Sure.
Some of these things is like a butterfly effect. If you don't do it at the time, or if you do some of these opportunities, this can hugely change your life.
Gotcha. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in conversation with Martin Basiri, founder and gold medal winner of ApplyBoard. And kudos to you, because no one will ever be able to take that accomplishment away from you. There's just certain wins that you have in life that you can never, and so to our audience, we are open to take questions. So if you have any questions or thoughts, drop them in the chat. Our producers will be able to pick them, and we'll certainly be able to ask your questions on your behalf. Like so far, I'm looking online at the numbers. We got hundreds of people watching right now, coast to coast. So thank you all for joining us today. Now, let's get into ApplyBoard.
Yes.
A number of companies, thousands of companies are birthed on a regular basis, but not all of them survive. We think that many of the ones that do survive have a very strong why you're doing it. And that why drives a passion. Now, what was your why, and what is ApplyBoard, and why did you satisfy?
Yeah, very good. Very good question. Very good question. The underneath why is a challenge, a problem that society has. Right? Okay. What we do and why we do it and how we do it is always important, right? Why we do it? Because we want to like help people get educated, because we believe education is a right, not a privilege. So everyone in the world should have access to good quality education. Okay. How we doing it is by creating this like an online marketplace. Is a global common application that students can apply to universities in literally right now 5 countries: US, Canada, Australia, UK, and Ireland, with one single application. And it's just phenomenal technology. And when we started, it was just passion. We just wanted to do something cool. Maybe I step back a little bit, tell you the story. So I came to Canada to do my master's degree at University of Waterloo. They gave me full scholarship, mainly because of things like the Geneva one and other like things that I've done during my time in undergrad and in high school. And then I brought my brothers to study here, and we were helping other people also to come to here. And in 2015, which by the way, in 2 days, it's our 7th year anniversary, we decided to go to Velocity, University of Waterloo Velocity, the incubator, and start ApplyBoard.
Okay.
And it was just first passion. And then when we started helping people and people start saying thank you, people start saying, oh, you changed my life. Then we fell in love. So it wasn't a business anymore. We were like,
you actually got to meet some of the people that use ApplyBoard, and you could see the impact that it had.
Yeah.
And then you said you fell in love with ApplyBoard. That's powerful.
Yeah. Before that, it was passion, business, wanted to build something.
Okay.
After that, we had that. But now that something is changing people's lives, something that is like so valuable by them. Now then we fell in love. We couldn't it was more than a business. It was more than money. It was more than fame. It was more than everything. It was like,
okay, so I need to interject a personal little moment here, because it's not about you, it's about me. No, I'm just joking. But I have a daughter in grade 12. She is deciding between Queens and Laurier. Sorry, not Waterloo. I know it's just down the road, but she thinks they have a better football team. I don't know. But her desire is to do an international year, right? So like do year 1 and then go abroad. Is that something that ApplyBoard helps with? Is like, hey, wherever you are in high school, in university, in college, at what point do you enter into this portal? Like, take me through that experience as a user of ApplyBoard.
At this point is like when the person want to do the full degree or program in another place. So if your daughter wanted, say, to go to US or to UK or to Australia or Ireland, she can go to ApplyBoard. For a study abroad, we haven't done that yet. For a short semester, we haven't done that yet. But if your daughter, for example, say, I want to go to California because I love the opportunities there and I love the football team or whatever you say, she can go to ApplyBoard right now, enter her information. It shows like what universities or colleges in California would accept her, how much does it cost, and she can apply directly to them through ApplyBoard on our website.
You know, it's interesting. There's a lot of political conversations, and we're not going to get into it too deep. There is a shortage of workers across many sectors, right? And one of the taps that have been turned off because of COVID was immigration. So there wasn't this influx of immigrants coming to Canada with the skill set and the knowledge that they have. You are actually creating a bed in which they're being planted and rooted to grow into the market, starting with their education. How does that feel for you, knowing that what you're doing isn't even simply impacting the individual, but the Canadian economy at large, because now we're birthing and baking in our own soil the talents that are around the world. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, and I also add another angle to it, that the revenue and the talent of these students that they bring to these universities and colleges are one of the reasons that our Canadian universities and colleges then they can keep open and running and spend money on research and labs and spend money also on domestic students, because as you know, grants and government funding every year keep going down in percentage wise, right? Both US, Canada, and majority of the countries. And also our demographic is coming down. So our fertility rate is under 2.1. So our universities don't have as many 18-year-old domestically as they had before. But from the other side, salaries of people go up, expenses go up, everything going up. So the balance, like the international students also help the domestic students' education to go up for the money and also for the talent that they bring. Because your daughter, regardless of they go to Queens or Laurier, she wants to get to know people from all over the world to get the experience, because tomorrow when she go to a work, there's not such a thing called local company anymore. Every company by nature is global. So if she doesn't learn at a school how Vietnamese are, how Chinese are, how Iranians are, how is she going to do business with them down the road? You know, maybe the best job for her is actually like somewhere in Vietnam that she can really like find talent and happiness over there, right? We are living in like a global village. But how does it feel? It feels like stars are all aligned, you know?
Okay.
It's a win-win-win-win situation.
I like that. I heard 4 wins. And when you can get to 4 wins, most people stop at win-win. You got 4 wins. That is fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in conversation with Martin Basiri, co-founder of ApplyBoard, with his whole team. Not only did he co-found ApplyBoard, he won a full scholarship because of his sacrifices when everybody was partying for 2.5 weeks. This young man decided to make some sacrifices to elevate and to apply his skill set. Now, he'll call it luck or perfect timing, but if you really heard what happened, it was all about his sacrifice when something needed to get done. And that's elevated and put him in a position of success, again, along with a team of people. Now, you continually celebrate team. You always bring in other people. You're always talking about other people, and you're really quick to point and give credit to other people. Now, your parents are both educators. Where did that come from? That ability to appreciate, you use the word village, global. You have this mindset that isn't about you or your ego. You really know how to acknowledge and make everyone around you feel comfortable. Where did that come from?
I don't think there's one thing. I think it came from my education. My education, what my parents taught. My dad was an international student. So he came to US like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. He came back to Iran. So he was always telling me, oh, in US it's like that. We were like, wow. And he taught me everything from a very young age. He taught me engineering. My mom, she was a school principal, so she taught us discipline and thinking big, and you can be the best. Give her the confidence. One trip changed my life. So I was 20 years old. Mm-hmm. Till now, I just went outside of Iran once or twice, right, with family on a safe, surrounded, being a tourist. I was 20. I got an opportunity, again, right place, right time, to go to Sierra Leone, which at that time just finished their civil war.
And you felt comfortable going to Sierra Leone right after their civil war.
I could go to Turkey or Oman or Sierra Leone, and I chose Sierra Leone because I was like, probably the rest of my life, I don't get the chance to go there. Fair. So I went to Sierra Leone at the age of 20, and that trip completely changed my mind, because in Iran, people were like parliamentary because of politics, sanctions, religion, like for everything. People like, oh, mostly they're negative, mostly they're nagging. And they're not as much as appreciating because they always like compare themselves to US, Canada, Europe, right? When I went to Sierra Leone, I see how bad look like, how worst compared to Iran look like, right? But also I see on the other side, how people are people, regardless of where they live, how they look like.
Okay.
Everyone happy when they dance, and everyone sad when they cry. And doesn't matter, have you eaten or not? You know, a poor person on the street also can laugh. A rich person in a Mercedes also can be very upset. So the values of life, I learned a lot from that trip, because when I came back to Iran, I was nothing but full positive energy of appreciating every single thing that we have, which, by the way, people were thinking this is not good because we are worse than US or worse than Europe. I was like, this is very good because we are better than Sierra Leone.
Yeah, so you're bringing an element of just being grateful for what you do have.
Yeah.
But then you made the most of what you had. And those are two different graduating principles. First of all, you have to make the most of what you have. Fantastic. You're grateful, right? And that's a phenomenal principle to live by. But then having those opportunities and do something with them. Like, okay, I have a window to go to Sierra Leone. It's okay. There are civil war just ended. I'm going to go anyways. What other daring movements and motions have you made?
Oh, all of my life I'm doing that. Like, I believe literally, like, if you gotta like walk at the line of risk.
Okay.
Yeah, if you step one foot on the wrong side, you fell, because that's the edge point of yourself. I'm fascinated by human ability, and including myself. I'm fascinated. I always want to see what's my next limit, where else I can push myself. These are to me all learning opportunity, business. These are to me just like, it feels good because I can challenge myself. You're like, do you think you can do this as well? And then say, wow, you could do 10 times even better. I'm just fascinated when we empower people, including myself, how amazing the result can be.
Okay,
like, humans are very, very powerful, extremely powerful. And that's why I love education, because it empower people, right? And for me,
definition. So I just want to make sure I'm hearing this clearly and properly. Your definition of taking a risk or making bold moves is really about challenging yourself to do more than what you thought you were capable. It's not only about flying to Sierra Leone. It's also about challenging yourself to say, hey, let me see if I could actually build this device that can measure the viscosity of a liquid in a transformer. You actually are defining risk as challenging yourself. Take a risk on yourself.
Let me explain it this way. So from earliest stage of my life, I was always talking to elderlies. I always talk to elderlies, and I say, what do they regret and what don't they regret?
Okay.
They barely regret for the things that they've done. They always regret for the things that they did not done. So I always think, this is my picture. What if when I'm like 80 years old, sitting on a porch, and sitting, and my grandkid said, hey, grandpa, what did you do? Am I going to smile before I answer? Or am I going to say, I want to smile? Right?
Wow.
So I go to a lot of 80-year-old people. I go to a lot of like elderly, and I'm doing that since I'm kid, because I always wanted, like, they've done it. Like, time, you can't go back. Everything else is reversible almost. Time and health is very hard to bring them back, right? If I got 34 right now, right? I can't become 32, right? Like, I can't bring time back, at least with current like knowledge of human being. So the best thing is to go and ask elderlies, they said, what they like, what they don't like. When you tell them, they tell you be more risky. They tell you don't worry as much. They tell you don't afraid of failure as much. They tell you to just be yourself. Don't worry about judgment. They tell you live for yourself. They tell you like love your family. They tell you love other people. They normally tell you like less worry about monetary part of the world and more worry about impact part of the world. So these are all the good advices that I'm getting from other people. And it's constantly changing, like values of you change completely.
Yeah, Martin, I will agree with you and almost disagree with you at the same time. All right.
Good.
You got to hear me out. We all have access, because you're right, we live in a global village now. Yeah. We all have access to the same information, to the same uplifting knowledge. What you just listed there was some of the key elements that you've gleaned and pulled from spending time with the elderly. That's gold, but not everybody applies it. And I think that's the difference in your life, is you actually take the time to apply this in your life, not just in one ear and out the other. Something goes in and it kind of stays there, right? And I think that might be a defining factor for you. You actually apply what you learn. So I agree with you 100%. But where I disagree is that it's not as easy to apply unless you take the time to absorb and then let it go out your fingers, not just out the other ear. So
yeah, I think what makes it apply, it depends on the thing. Every people have different passion.
Okay.
My passion is to be better, to challenge myself.
Okay.
Someone may hear it to say, like, for example, I want to stay healthy. My health really matter for me, right? For someone else, it's not as much matter. Maybe they rather just like live a shorter lot of time, and they don't care if they get sick later on or they're sick right now, right? So it's also a matter of like what matters for you. You know, for me, challenges and challenging myself really matter. For someone else, like maybe sleep really matter, right? And also like there are a lot of like external elements. We can't just say everyone should be same. The life Shiraz that I have is hard. I don't recommend it to everyone. It's hard. You know what? Since I'm 14 years old, every day I'm working over 14 hours.
Wow.
Except the last 2 weeks that I take at least one of my weekend days off. Except the last 2 weeks, the first 5 years of ApplyBoard, I probably didn't even have a single day of vacation.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I remember even on the day of my wedding, I was working. Yes.
Okay.
I was taking calls even on the day of my wedding, I was working. So like, am I recommend, like, it's not the type of life for everyone.
Agreed.
I love it. I enjoy it. I value it so much. Not everyone would like to see. I want to see a world that every single kid go to school. There are kids that I don't even know them. And like sometimes I think about it, so like, why am I sacrificing my life for the people who I don't even know? When I think about it, it's just because I'm just so enjoying. I don't need to know them. I just enjoy thinking about a kid can go to school because of what we do, even though I don't know them, even though I never get to meet them. Some person, this is not a value for them, right? For me, this is a value. For me, there are certain things is not the value for some other person. Like for me, like there are other things that have a lower priority, right? For example, I don't care as much of like experience, like I don't know, 500-year-old wine or something. I don't know. I don't even know if there's such a thing exists or not. I don't care. For someone else really matter, right? So we can't say like why everyone should be one way or the other. I really like it. If someone wants to grow and challenge themselves, I think entrepreneurship is a life of joy and happiness and experience and learning from the best, because with my job, I get to know most important people on planet Earth. And I don't think I could have done anything else that I get to know even 1% of the people. Like I was just talking to like someone who was helped Amazon from 1998 till 2020. The person seen in and out of how a company can get to that. That to me is, oh my God, this is the most joyful conversation. Gotcha. How did you guys do it?
Gotcha.
For someone else, it might not be as enjoyable.
Gotcha. Ladies and gentlemen.
One thing that is,
go ahead.
One thing that is obvious, we should do things that we really enjoy.
Gotcha. And ladies and gentlemen, it's clear that Martin enjoys what he's doing. You can hear the passion. You can hear that he'll probably be doing this for a number of years. Hopefully when he has kids, he's able to take some days off, and hopefully he spends some time with his wife once in a while, because as you can see behind him, actually, Martin, can you just move over? For those of us who joined a little later, that artwork was completed masterfully by his wife. So let's give her a little bit of credit on this call as well. And his haircut, that was his wife's choice as well. She makes him look good. We have a few questions coming in from the audience. And again, we are in conversation with Martin Basiri of ApplyBoard, gold medal invention winner, but just all around a grounded human being that lives for more than just a monetary gain. He feels that the monetary gain follows when you follow your passion. Just have a couple of quick questions here that I want to that are being thrown over to me. And by the way, we got a bunch of people across all our platforms watching. So welcome those who are watching on, let's see here, Twitter, those who are watching live feed on YouTube, those who are on our link on our website. And I think there's another platform that people are watching on. So across all of our platforms, thank you all for joining us today. I'm just going to take a quick question here. Raising capital. A question about raising capital and the importance for an entrepreneur when it comes to bringing about the dollars necessary to get off the ground. Now, I'm paraphrasing the question here, of course, but what are your thoughts around raising capital?
Yeah. So it really depends what type of business you have and what type of desire you have. So we raised closer to 600 million Canadian dollar, like closer to like 480 million US dollar.
For ApplyBoard.
For ApplyBoard. Why? Because we want to go after something very big. But if we wanted to make like a more lifestyle business that stays in the family for generation, probably you don't want to raise, or you want to raise from family. When you want to build something extremely giant, then you need a lot of fuel for it, right? So it depends. Is it good? Yes, it's good. It's bringing cash, but also now you're bringing someone else as a partner. You need to respect them. They should be your partners. Not only they give you money, you need to hear them. You need to be able to like convey to them what's the message, right? They trusted you. So it comes with some responsibility.
Okay, so far there's one bifurcation that you've made is consider if you're raising this as a corporate entity, or is this going to be a family-oriented business?
Yeah,
more of a cottage style business. So that's one thought that you brought to the table. Another thought that you're bringing to the table is the amount of money that you raise will lean towards one or the other. But you said partners that invest capital, you want to treat them as partners and allow them to sit at the table with you versus having silent partners who are only in it for the percentage at the end of the measured period. How do you wrestle and how did you land on, okay, I'm going to pick this partner, this investor because they want to partner with me versus this silent dollar giver where I just have to give a return at the end of a measured period?
Yes. So first, the business need is different during the different time. Sometimes you really need someone to come, for example, to have connection. So you choose the partner because of their money and also because they have connection. Gotcha. Sometimes you come because you don't have a brand and you're like, if I get money from XYZ, I'll also associate with that brand. And then because of that, I can hire better or something, right? For me, what was most important is the partner that we bring, they think big. I didn't want they worry about like, oh, we are going to build a small company. I want them to think big because my point of view is like, why should we even do it if we don't going to really solve the problem? We want to solve this big problem. And the problem is big. We want to think big. We want to think strategic. But at the same time, I want to think 20 years. I want to think 25 years. I don't want to just think about that. Hey, what are we doing for next quarter?
Gotcha.
And the type of partner that we prove, and most importantly, one thing that really mattered for me, and I think it attracted the right partners. Very happy, grateful for the investors that we have. Is we wanted people who really care about our mission.
Okay.
This is not just one of the company to give money, to just take money for the sake of money. People came partner with us because they're like, this thing should exist in the world.
That is fantastic. And thank you, Martin, for taking the time to be with us today. Thank you again for taking the time, but more so taking the time for us. Thank you for doing what you do. I hope that your story today inspires many others to pursue their passions in a way that helps lift other people in the community, whether it's the immediacy of their geographic community or globally. Solving problems is what inventors do. if you can't invent and you don't have that mind, in the very least, you can innovate. And there's always a better mousetrap to build. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. We're again in conversation with Martin Basiri, the founder of ApplyBoard. He did two other things really well. He won a gold medal at the Geneva Invention Convention, I think it's called, but that's phenomenal. And the second thing that he did really well, he married well. That artwork, again, fantastic stuff. You did a great job. This is also really exciting. We finally are launching the Canadian Entrepreneurship series in June. So in about a 5 or 6 week, we've partnered with Gavreau and Associates. Now, listen, if you haven't had the opportunity to hear Robert Gavreau speak, you are in for a treat. This series includes 10 episodes focusing on entrepreneurs who are doing their daily grind to bring out and let their business shine. We're really excited about this effort. And again, you'll hear more about it coming up in June. And of course, everything is sponsored by our foundation. And that is the foundation of what we are as a business. And that's the Canadian SME Business Magazine. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make your way over to the link and subscribe now. The content that you receive is phenomenal. And again, once again, we want to thank our exclusive banking partner, that's RBC, and our exclusive shipping partner, UPS. Thank you all for joining us today.